Hello, everybody. Johnny Drive-By here on the Heathen Drive-By, and today I got you got to say it. I can't say it. What's your? You got to pronounce your name.
My name is René.
Yeah, I'll slaughter it. I'm an American, a Yank, so.
Yeah.
Um, and we were just talking about you. You do a blog, and you're a big time Twitter friend of mine.
Yeah.
We always exchange or whatever quite a few times, but you do a blog, and the last thing that you were doing on your blog was putting God on trial. I loved
Yeah.
it.
I mean, that's basically, I think we're live, right? And that's like basically what I do in criminal law. And I personally study law, and I'm in my first semester, so I got my next semester in October coming up, and it was nice to put sort of my learning or what I am learning right now is my profession to good use and to promote atheism and like showing that uh, the Bible or the God portrayed in the Bible is immoral or behaves in ways that are not acceptable to any of us.
Well, it's not acceptable to me. I know that. Is there a big difference? You're familiar with American law versus German law? Then is there a big difference in that?
Um, there is a really big difference in that sense that we don't have a jury. Like
Oh, really? Okay.
in Germany, the judge decides whether he's guilty or how long he has to serve in prison and all that stuff. So that's really one major difference. And I think in America, the best the best thing that can happen to you is like if you become a lawyer or in the private market because you can get big revenue. And in Germany, sort of the goal for pretty much everyone, at least in my circles with my friends, is like working for the state because
Huh.
um,
So you're basically tied to the state or wherever the
that's
government then.
that's the goal. Like
Okay.
if I am good enough and if I pass my exams in 3 or 4 years are the big exams coming up, and if I pass them with a good grade, then I could become state employed, and that's pretty much my goal.
So it was back. How old are you? You're like you're in college then, or you're about 20,
I'm 21 and I'm
21? Okay.
going to university.
How what's your story? How did you were you always a non-believer, always an atheist, or did
Um,
you?
the, I mean, I became an unbeliever like 2 years ago. I was for most of my life pretty apathetic towards religion. I did believe in a God and a sort of God that I made up for myself.
Okay, yeah.
I didn't realize it at that point, and I was like a deist more or less. Didn't. I never really believed in all that Jesus stuff. I think I rejected it at
Never
when I
paid
was
attention to
nine
any
or
Christian
12.
doctrine then.
No, not
Yeah,
really. I
yeah.
mean, also in my family, not the case that we went to church often. I mean, it was like maybe 4 times a year for Christmas, for Easter, and yeah, I subscribed to the Amazing Atheist, the YouTuber, and I found myself agreeing with him on a lot of points on religion, and then the YouTube algorithm programmed it that way that I also came across Jacqueline Glenn, Hammett Meta, and I found their points really convincing. And then one night I took it basically upon myself to investigate whether there is evidence for God. I scoured the internet, so to speak, looking for arguments for evidence, and I came up empty-handed. And pretty much at that point, I didn't believe. And I think 4 weeks later or so, I then admitted that I was an atheist, and that was pretty much it.
The amazing atheist. Is Germany like a little bit? I want to. Well, what is it like? Is it? like 80% religious, 60% religious?
I think I mean it depends on how you define religious, so to speak. I mean, there are many people who believe in a God, but I wouldn't necessarily say that they believe in Jesus or that stuff. At least at my age, it's not so common. I don't think. I mean, most people are apathetic to the subject. Um, it's at least within the people who are native Germans. I mean, we also have a lot of Muslims in Germany, and I would say they are more religious than the
The
German ones.
Muslims are? Yeah.
Yeah, and I think most people hold to a more or less passive belief in God in Germany, and you know, just live life, do it like my family, go to church maybe 3 or 4 times a year, and
Yeah,
that's it.
where I'm from in North America, it's the northern part of the USA. It's not so fundamentalist, you know. You don't have the, but if you get to the south,
Yeah,
well, you've dealt with plenty of the fundies that are from the U.S. I'm sure on Twitter,
yeah,
the fire and brimstone theists.
yeah. I mean, to me, it's Twitter's really strange in that sense because in my personal life, for instance, I have never met a creationist. I mean, based on
Isn't that the truth? Me neither.
yeah, and on Twitter, they're like, I mean, basically every theist I run to on Twitter, or every Christian, or most Christians, I should
Yeah.
say, if I engage with them, it becomes rather quickly apparent that they don't accept science. Yeah,
And don't forget the flat earthers.
yeah,
They're a joy.
uh, something else.
I mean, yeah, I'm not even sure how the Dunning Kruger effect started taking effect, but it just did. At least it seems like it lately. And there seems in America anyway, there seems to be an anti-intellectual movement, and
Yeah,
that started quite a few years ago. Where anytime you have somebody talk a little bit about something sciencey, then everybody goes, "Oh, yeah, what do they know?" I hope it's not spreading over to your place, though.
I don't think so. I think they. I mean, in my area with the people I know, they are all pretty secular, and I think all of them accept evolution, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, you know, I lived in the South a little bit here in the U.S. and but it's in the North part. We're all secular. It's kind of secular. It really is. It's a whole different world. They have a different the Southern Baptist kind of denomination or whatever. They have quite a and the Pentecostals and all that. Yeah. They have a more firm belief, I guess, or they believe it more.
Yeah,
But you don't have that there, I guess. It's good.
I mean, I think I guess there are some people who take their religion more seriously, but in general, it doesn't really come up.
So what made you decide to get into law then?
Um, uh, my mom was a judge, and
Oh, she's a
I
judge.
yes, and
That's interesting.
I also grew up with it, and think I have a talent for it, and I also in Germany in the education system where like at least at the best school that we have in Germany, we have like a three-branched school system, and uh, in one of the schools where you basically then get your degree, so you can go to university, and you have like it's an economics class, but also you have half a year of law because they're like civil law because of the contracts that you learn how to make contracts, and I found it fun even at that time when I was like 19, and I thought to myself, yeah, I think that might be for me, and I also find it fun right now studying law, so it's great.
So if I'm like in Germany and I'm got drunk in a bar fight, I know who to call now, right?
Yeah,
Just call you up and hey man, I don't know his name. I can't pronounce it, but he can get me out of here.
I mean, yeah,
Now you're gonna hang up on me, huh? um, I had another question for you, but I can't remember what it was. I mean, um, yeah. What what? Speaking of creationists, so
mm,
do you think there's none? How many are in Germany? I'm kind of
mm,
gonna focus on your country
I
mainly.
mean, I don't have like a figure on this. I mean, I don't think it's many people. I would say maybe 20-25% or so, but also presumably more in the older generation. I mean, the youth or young adults, they all um, most people I know who are my age are pretty secular. I can imagine that maybe in for the older generation, maybe they are they are more creationists. Uh, I mean, being a creationist is not something that you would brag about here in Germany because people would just look at you at with horror because it's so uncommon. I mean, I wasn't even aware that creationism was an actual thing until I heard about it in school and just uh, shocked me that people don't accept evolution. I mean, I always accepted evolution. It was at my in my family like beyond dispute that evolution is obviously true, and it shocked. It really shocked me when I heard that there are people out there who don't accept evolution. It was kind of crazy.
Well, I mean, the evidence is just overwhelming. I mean, it's mountains and mountains and mountains of evidence that point you in the direction of evolution,
Yeah,
science wouldn't work without it, really. so, so there is that. But yeah, I think it was Aaron Ra when I saw something that he had or whatever that, and bumped into one of the creationists, young Earth creationists on his comment section, and that was about a year and a half ago. And I just went, really? And that set me off where I'm like, I got to do something about this. Like I can't let people teach that crap. You know, put a saddle on a T-Rex and
yeah.
come on. Yeah, I can't even believe that. That yeah, it's. I guess people that get sheltered from it, they don't. If you're
Yeah.
taught that way, you're gonna grow up that way thinking that. So
I mean, I also sent out a tweet yesterday. It was, I think, they're pretty popular, and in that sense that I basically compared the creationist tactic. You know, they always use dinosaurs. They put dinosaurs on books, and they use dinosaurs to promote creationism, and they also use them to lure the kids in. And I find that to be sort of a tactic that pedophiles would employ when they try to give children sweets or lollipops or so, because that's how they want to get them, and that's how they lure them in to get them to accept their untenable views. So,
if they're over 7 years of age, that's too late. They already made up their mind.
yeah,
Got to get them when they're young. I mean, yeah, that's I don't know. It's just wrong to teach somebody that I don't even know what you listen to Ken Hammond. He is just
yeah,
it's hard for me to think that he actually believes what he says. I think he doesn't believe it. I really he it almost seems like it. But then again,
I would say that the money is definitely an aspect of it, but I don't think he would buy his own arguments because if the guy was a science teacher, I mean, he must know that his arguments don't have merit. But I would, I don't have a hard time accepting that he really thinks that evolution is false. But I think he definitely does know that he lies to people. I mean,
I think so too. I think you're right. It's he just seems like he's out to make money. I just feel like that. That's what his goal is. be screwing over the town there in Kentucky, and whatever chance he can get, he's got guys freaking writing up different laws for him, to screw them out of their taxes or whatever. And his daughter's no better. I can't hear you right now. Is your mic working? Can't hear you, Renee. Not yet. Well, while he's doing that, how is everybody doing out there today? I just got done making a video on a little rant of mine. It was about my open letter to theists, and I kind of had to do that because I've been working on that for I didn't have the ability to make a good video. Science teacher. Until just recently, and I came up with some characters that had to read it for me because had to be in a pissed off mood to do it. Can't figure that mic out, huh, Renee? Did you pull it out of the plug? I didn't do anything here. No, I didn't do anything here. I do not see anything. Hey, thanks, Shane. Has anybody got questions for me? I recently got to 400 subscribers, so I'm gonna do a Q&A. I think a live Q&A one of these days. I'm gonna do it for surprise though. There, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Now I don't have to. Now I don't have to put up with me talking.
Well, right. I'm blocked on my regular account by Kenham because I always made it a point to try to teach his followers science and like that. But I also have a backup where I screenshot his tweet so I can, because I know a lot of my followers are also blocked by him, and I think it may be interesting for them to see what's up with him because he's a terrible person in my mind. But he also once posted like a photo of his home, and in the background you could see like a pool table and an ice hockey table and I think all sorts of stuff. I mean, Ken Ham definitely has a lot of money.
Well, you don't have to pay taxes. You can kind of cut corners a little bit on certain things.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my biggest problem with it is tax exempt. They're pushing something that can't be proved, and then they get a tax break for it. Come on.
Unfortunately, they promote something which has decisively been proven false.
Yeah.
And also saw like bits and pieces of Ark Encounter and what he promotes. I mean that even for creationists, it's just crazy what kind of concepts he has. I mean, there's like a video on YouTube how they remove the waste of the animals, and it was like a super high tech machine that was apparently inside Noah's Ark, and it's just something else.
How did that happen? Well, that couldn't have possibly happened. Oh yeah, magic.
Yeah.
Magic. That's how it worked. Come on. I mean, yeah, pretty sick and tired of them trying to push forward things like that. I mean, then you got Stephanie. She's been on a big rampage lately, hasn't she?
S.J. Thomason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a she's a beauty. She's like a really poor apologist, though. I mean,
Yeah.
I think my great great grandma debunked some of the claims that she's going after.
I mean, I mean, on one hand, she must be a smart person because she has like an degree, and I do think she is actually pretty smart, but her apologetics is just terrible.
Her apologetics are just. I mean, it's just so. I don't know. Apologetics. That's all it is trying to turn something that is not believable into something believable. That's all it is. I mean, especially the Christian apologetics are some of the worst. Well, all religion apologetics are just well, because magic. That's all they got. They have to, and it's presuppositional. They have to put God there first.
I mean,
Yeah, as
think,
Shane said, that SJ is a William Lane Craig wannabe.
yeah, I mean, it's also like I do think that she is more moving toward that direction of Scythe and Broomgate with her apologetics. I mean, she had him recently on one of her shows, I think, and
Yeah, that's right. I haven't even watched that yet. That's got to be good.
I
That's
mean,
right. I see.
she recently I learned that she agrees with Scythe's interpretation of Romans 1. Like, apparently everyone does believe in God, despite uh, despite various people having different beliefs and different deities, and despite the fact that she uh, wasn't always as Christian as she is now. Like, she has told on numerous occasions that she once was on a journey and was more drawn towards Eastern faith, but that she had this one experience and now she's Christian. And
Yeah, that's her story, isn't it? She had some sort of a Holy Spirit experience, as she calls it, or whatever, which is probably just indigestion or something.
yeah,
It was gas. I think she needs to come into the dark side and hang out with us and party a little bit, loosen up.
yeah.
All those apologetics are gonna rot your brain, Stephanie.
I mean, what I am, but really recently about what I am sometimes challenge believers on a hypothetical scenario, like if we had a time machine and we could go back to the times of Jesus, where and we would find out for certain that Jesus wasn't raised from the dead, would they then still believe? And most people answered that they wouldn't believe anymore. I have encountered people who said that they still would believe in Jesus despite their own eyes telling them that it was a lie. And I also was like on one of Stephanie's shows where I put that question forth, and I noticed that she didn't reply to it.
Oh, your mic just went out again. I've noticed this with quite a few, not everybody, but when I thought I heard something there, but when
Uh,
I
can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay.
uh, when I talk to, especially I got a friend that he's theist, wherever he tries to read scripture and tries to push him out there or whatever. But when you ask him a question like a hypothetical on whether or not, well, what if God wasn't? What if you found out God doesn't exist? Well, that just isn't going to happen. It's like they have to deny. They can't even think about that. It's
Yeah.
just it's fun, and I think that's a lot of the Christian thing or whatever that the indoctrination or whatever that makes people do that.
I mean, it's just. I mean, if you can't even concede the possibility that you may be wrong on this one issue, I mean, I don't know what to tell you at that point. I mean,
Well, if you can't even put yourself into a situation where without God, imagine something without God, and then they just totally just skirt around that question and try and change the subject or whatever. That's what I've noticed about it. Yeah, her brain is rotten. That's what Shane said. That's why she's an apologist.
I mean, I think, or at least in my view, the argument that she uses, like the moral argument, I take it you're familiar with that. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, that is pretty much a presuppositional argument.
Well, yeah, you have to say God therefore, and then your argument can work. But you can't, even with God, morality doesn't really fit in, because then it's still subjective morality, because he's the one that decided what the morality is. So it's his
I
morality.
mean, there are like people out there who have believe in God, and and you can have like her arguing that thing X is objectively moral, and there will be another theist who will maybe say, yeah, no, I don't think that's objectively moral. I think quite the opposite is objectively moral. I
I just
mean,
thought, sorry, but I just thought of something. Christians don't have morality then. They don't have their own morality. They have God's morality, or whatever's
yeah,
in that book. So they don't have morality. There,
I
take
mean,
that, Christians. Bleh.
I mean, the problem in that case is one person says X is knowledge, other person says Y is knowledge. Uh, uh, X is small, other person says Y is small. Uh, who's gonna who's gonna solve that issue? I mean, God isn't gonna come down and tell us, well, Stephanie, you're wrong on morality, and if other apologists you're right on morality, great, you have to get me out. I mean,
Oh,
at least in practice, morality absolutely is not objective. I
well, what
mean,
God can have is my titties and beer. Well, I don't get titties very often, but yeah, there's no, yeah, it's all subjective, and just even to say that it is kind of, you're stretching it there, because everybody has a different opinion on it. I mean, everybody
uh,
does. Yeah, that's poor apologetics from her, especially from her. She's about the worst I've ever seen, to be honest with you.
yeah. I mean, I argue with her like every other day, and she just can't concede anything. I mean, I have like tackled her Kalam argument a dozen times at least. I've also written about Kalam on my blog, why it doesn't work. I've written about fine tuning on my blog, why that doesn't work. I've argued with her on morality, and I mean, just mind boggling to me that she can't see why her arguments don't work, and she just keeps hanging on to them. It's amazing to me.
Um, well, whatever her experience was, it must have been pretty traumatic or something.
Yeah,
Just maybe she ate some magic mushrooms or something, flipped over a cow turd, and found some mushrooms on there and ate them. And she saw God, or what she thought was God. Oh, wait, I remember reading her thing or whatever. She saw some sort of Mother Mary figure or something, I think it was. But it's like, well, how do you know that was divinely inspired or divinity? You don't.
yeah,
There's plenty of evidence out there that shows that our brains can fire up neurons and we can easily think something is realistic. Easily. Hey, I've witnessed it. I've witnessed crap,
yeah.
but I know what
I
it
mean,
was.
I think I was once in like not a big forest, but in the woods, like with my friends, and it was like a little bit darker. And at that point, all three of us we saw something, and all three of us, I mean, we were a little bit more gullible and not skeptical, and we all three of us like thought that that was some kind of a demon. I mean, not only does this show that people can make stuff up, it also shows that people can uh, like collectively sort of be under a delusion or see something that is actually there.
Yeah, it's just because our brain and our eyes don't work together. Our brain actually interprets what we're seeing. So
Yeah,
there's a little bit of something can happen in between your eye to your brain signal, So that's why you see something out of the corner of your eye and you think you saw something. So yeah, yeah, and that's just little things like that. But like I've had sleep paralysis, and those, when you're dreaming like that, you can't move. You're, whatever that chemical that your body naturally puts into you to keep you
mm,
from sleepwalking, So you're actually awake, but you're still dreaming. You're in your dream world, and it seems real. It really does. But well, you can. I know what that is though, but when people think that that's their out of body experience or whatever, they're in the spirit world, then it's like, well, how do you know that? Why don't I attribute it to that? Why do you? But they won't ask. They won't answer. They won't even ponder that question.
I mean, they don't think they really can allow themselves to uh, wrestle with the issues that there are. I mean, if they were to wrestle with these issues, and if they really were to think hard about what they actually do believe, then I think they would themselves realize that their beliefs are really out there, so to speak.
Ah, no, sorry, I was reading the chat here. Oh boy, that's interesting. Wow, you got 4 siblings that are pastors. Wow, that must make an interesting Thanksgiving dinner anyway. Yeah. Well, I remember those questions or whatever that were going around too that she was asking. I mean, talk about skirting around every freaking thing and not even giving an answer. And I've seen her do that so many times. She just changes the subject, and that's is I don't know. William Lane Craig isn't any better than I don't consider him that much better than than her. They're just because they both have to start with the presuppositional thing. They have to start kind of that God's there. So that's why. And his Maximilian, his maximal abilities. So they can skirt around the omnipotence. Ah, he's Danish. I can't hear. I can't hear your mic right now. Oh, hello, Mrs. Snarky. What is it? How are you doing today? I hear something clicking when you're moving there, but
Uh,
there it is. Nah,
Okay. Uh, I don't know what's wrong with
Gremlins.
my mic.
It's God. God is trying to keep us from talking.
Yeah, but I mean, the maximal greatness thing is also another issue because in one of my blog posts, I don't know, are you familiar with the modal ontological argument?
The
On
ontological, yes, yes. First
on
cause.
finding out, no, it's about
I'm
maximal
sorry.
greatness.
Okay. Yep. Yep.
Um,
Yep. Yep. Go
and
ahead.
like the first premise of that argument is like it is possible that a maximally great being exists, and I would like a rebuttal to that because I don't agree with that premise. Um, because there are these things like great making properties, and I basically argued that, for instance, if you are omniscient, like you have all knowledge, then you lack the ability to learn naturally, and I would say that having the ability to learn is also a great making property and is part of intelligence. So therefore, if God is omniscient and he can't learn, then it follows that God is intelligent. So those two are essentially in conflict, and therefore it is possible that God is a maximally great being because he can't have both. Or also like with courage, like God is fearless, therefore he doesn't have courage, so therefore these two are in conflict. And let's just say Stephanie wasn't very amused about the article when she read it.
Yeah, she's got a I don't know. Block, block, block. I'm gonna vent. I'm gonna vent through everything, or vet everybody here before I talk to him. It's funny. I always talk nice to her, but I was talking nice to her online, but or it's on a chat thing or whatever. But I haven't ever really gotten into confronting her. I probably should make a video on one of her things once. Yeah, William Lane Craig isn't a philosopher. He's an insufferable sophist. That's about it. He's pretty good
mean,
with rhetoric, though.
the problem with William Lane Craig's argument, and this is also something that Scott Clifton, or theoretical bullshit, has pointed out, that the problem with his arguments is that he has his conclusion, and then he makes an argument to fit that conclusion, and that becomes painfully obvious when you actually investigate the argument, because he like builds up an argument, and then he that argument would allow maybe an atheist to come to the conclusion that God, based on that argument, doesn't exist, and William Lane Craig is just in the business of making things work out and twisting and turning it such that he is at some points arguing against himself.
If I ever met him in person, I'd drag him to the swimming pool and I'd give him a swirly in it. Now quit telling all these lies. Now he's one that I know doesn't believe the shit that he fucking says.
William Lane Craig.
Yeah, he can't believe that. He's too. I don't know. Maybe he does. Shame on me for thinking I can read his mind.
I don't. With him, I do think that he also knows that some of his arguments at least don't hold up. I mean, one of his debates, like, he practically made an argument that isn't an argument at all, and that is, I feel Jesus in my heart, therefore God exists. I mean, that's what it boiled down to.
Well, I feel poop coming on, so I know he doesn't. There. I win. Yeah. There, that's the same argument, right?
Yeah. But with these internet apologists, I mean, I do.
Your mic went out again. Must be a loose connection, huh? Well, something clicked. Yeah, no, it is.
Okay.
Must have a bad cord.
Yeah.
Solder it.
Like with what I, because I usually am pretty good at debating with these internet apologists, and I think also there are many people watching who might be persuaded by my rebuttals and by my arguments, but general, it's just, to me, sort of mind-boggling what some of them think and what some of them believe, and how close-minded people can really be. I mean, if that doesn't prove evolution, that evolution is a fact because God would have designed us with better brains, I don't know what will.
Yeah. If he did, why did he design us with skeptical brains? And Mrs. Snarky, he was my 5th follower on Twitter. I think something like that, weren't you?
Right. I think so.
Something like that, because Peter got me to get onto Twitter. That was almost a year ago, and then they sent out. Then you and 4 other people jumped on there. It's like, yeah, cool.
I think like I was maybe the 3rd or 4th guy. I mean,
I've almost got 2,000 now. pushing 2,000 here. So probably a couple days I'll probably get there. Where are you at now? 3,000 somewhere on there?
I think 3,600, something along those lines. Actually, I'm right at 3,701 followers.
How many of them actually pay attention to us, though? Peter is, yes, gonna go for it. That is who I'm talking about. He was one that made the intro for my video that I have in my videos with the guitar and the guitar pick flying across there like that. He made that one, and then the Heathen DriveBYE with the I haven't used that, and I got to learn how to use OBS and that crap or whatever for my stuff or whatever. But
I mean, Peter was also like the first guy I actually had a chat with because also was on his show and do wish that I could be more often on YouTube and do this kind of hangouts because I find it fun and but yeah, that's
Peter's pretty cool.
yeah. I mean, he's a really nice guy. I mean,
He sure he sure brings the drama around though, doesn't he?
yeah.
I love that about him though. So who are you fighting with today, Peter? He's not really fighting, but he's seems like a lot of people ganged up on him though.
I mean, he. I also don't know what's going on with him and AG. I mean, you know, 8 years ago, right?
Oh, that's right. I heard. I kind of heard something about that, but I don't know Atheist Girl all that well.
Yeah,
I mean,
actually one of my best friends and or
yeah,
one
I
of
know,
my
I know
best
you
friends
guys.
in
You guys are
general.
really good friends, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of close.
Yeah, well, she had some health issues for a little while there, didn't she? A while back.
I think she, mean in April, sort of, it was like she or her boyfriend, I think, sent out a tweet that she was like in hospital, but so
Mm.
is now, and people also bullied her because of some comments she made, but you know,
Yeah, I remember yeah, I remember her saying something about that. Took it really hard that it, I think it was even like misgendering somebody, wasn't it? Something like that.
yeah, I mean, was obviously a mistake on her part. She didn't do it intentional, but I mean, I know her and I know her well. I know who she is and how she is, and I don't think she deserves to be attacked by anyone. I mean,
No, it was
she's a really nice person.
people get people get all irate about things, and it's hard to people take things out of context too,
Yeah,
off of just little text twitters or whatever. So you don't see what they really mean with it. They take it out of context and
yeah.
distort it. Hi, Nadine.
I mean, it's kind of in today's age, especially, it's I wouldn't say it's a problem. It's great for transgender people, but we have gotten medically that good that it's really hard to notice when somebody is transgender. I mean, uh,
It
for I
you,
mean,
you, you have to
before
know.
people, I don't notice it at all.
You have to have them tell you. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm really bad at figuring that out. So yeah, but once they tell me, then I'll do my best to not misgender them. You know, I mean that's only right.
yeah. I mean, but in
And for the
today's
most
age,
part, most of them understand that too. That it's
yeah.
complicated. You know, they should know better. They should know better themselves that it is complicated, better than I do anyway.
I mean, in today's age, it's just really hard to figure out sometimes. And obviously, when they then tell me, "Hey, it's not me," then I will say, "Well, uh, didn't mean to. Sorry. Uh, I know, no, and of course I will respect you and treat you as you want, but it's it is a possibility that can happen, and it's just one of these things where people make
You-
mistakes and just then say, hey, please call me so and so, and then everything should be fine.
No, I don't
But
make mistakes.
oh, that was telephone. I just
Are you gonna
yeah.
spreken Sie Deutsch now on the phone? Are you gonna spreken Sie Deutsch on the phone?
Uh, I mean,
I I think you can call me anything you want. Just don't call me late for supper because that's about it. I'd yeah, people get used to it. It's something that's gonna take a while. I mean, I know it's I know what it's like to have the title atheist my whole life and how people misuse that word so many times. So yeah, I can relate to the to why it bothers people. But
I mean, it's also like in Germany, it's not a big deal to be an atheist, but it's like crazy on Twitter when I say, or when it becomes apparent to them that I'm an atheist, how aggressive they can sometimes get towards me, and then they call me names, and it's just all over the place.
does
I
Stephanie
mean,
ever block you when you get into those exchanges with her? Does she block you and then let you back in or whatever? Or
uh, she did like have me blocked once for like a day or so because there was a misunderstanding.
ah,
I was like in a threat involved with Peter, and he attacked the university, and she basically blocked everyone on the thread. And but in the evening when I also took a screenshot. It actually blocked me, and uh, later that day, like I found out in the morning later that day, she unblocked me and she apologized to me, and I am like getting along with her. Um, Aside from the fact that we disagree on the existence of God, but she
she thinks
does,
she's gonna convert you. She
yeah.
she thinks she's
So
gonna convert you. That's what it is. That's why she doesn't talk to me because she knows I'm just an old crusty freaking atheist. That there's no hope for me. Proud of it though. Your microphone.
try to
There you go.
ah okay.
I think you're figuring out how to fix it now.
Yeah. Um, like she told me that she thinks that I'm smart, but I think on occasion she might underestimate me because of my age. I mean, because I don't have like all that life experience, for instance, that she has. But she told me that she thinks that I'm excelling at law, that I will excel at law, and um, she should know that I'm smart. But I think sometimes she just underestimates me because I'm only 21 years old and have my life ahead of me, and God will seek me out, and sooner or later I will become a theist. And yeah,
Here's her thing that I and this is just something from my experience that I know what people do. I can read people's faces pretty good. She's got that little smile and she
mm,
talks really nice to you, but it's sort of a passive aggressive kind of a thing that she does, and it's a sneaky little trick, is what it is. But that's all she's really got. She doesn't have a good argument. She just has that little bit of that's the way she gets to be popular or whatever. That's how she gets her people to agree with her. She'll be nice to them, and then she'll suck them back in, and then all of a sudden, yeah, she's a drama queen.
yeah. I mean, one of her arguments, I think, one of her other arguments, which is actually an argument in favor of Christianity, I like was on her show, and I told her at that time the reasons why her argument doesn't work. And this morning, so I posted post that argument again. It's like I call it the "wouldn't die for a lie" argument. No, the disciples apparently saw the risen Christ, and therefore they were willing to die for that belief that Jesus was from the dead, and they preached for years and told her why that argument doesn't work. She still uses it, and yeah,
Eve Kaninen's another one that just makes me just go, wow. I've
yeah,
been blocked by her for a long time now. I made a comment to her. She blocked me like right away. It wasn't even that bad. It was like, what a little snowflake she is.
yeah. I also got blocked by her and blocked her, but I mean that woman is supposed to be a doctor in philosophy. I mean, she says things that are so apparently and so just everyone who can think for themselves should know that her argument doesn't make sense or her assertions don't make sense. But
Well, what I remember one of her blogs, or one of her blogs that I read, it was all about the burden of proof, and it's like she just took this, she takes it and tries to do a reverse burden of proof on you. I did a video on it, but so I actually learned a little bit more about the syllogisms and all that. But it's like there's a certain point where you get to where we just know things. It's called the principles or whatever when it's in philosophy. And she tried. I mean, do we go around and just so I what I did at the end of my video is I said, well, I'm going to make this shot. And well, you don't even have to see it. You just owe me $100, Eve. I'm not even going to shoot it. You just owe me $100. See, no burden of proof. That's it's yeah. Can you imagine if we just went around making claims and everybody have to believe them? No, it just doesn't work that way. There's inferences that we do. And I think your mic is out again. There, clicked.
Worked.
I can hear you.
I mean, I also saw recently a tweet by Seiton Broomgate where he like disputed Hitchens razor, and he basically asked, well, what is your evidence that what is your evidence for Hitchens razor? Like, what can be asserted without evidence can be dismissed without evidence. And to me, the answer is pretty simple. The evidence for Hitchens razor is simply that you are applying Hitchens razor. I mean, in your everyday life, you apply it. I mean, if I tell you God doesn't exist and it just is that way, then he's gonna dismiss that claim without evidence. He's even gonna dismiss it when I provide evidence. But the evidence for Hitchens razor is simply that we apply it and we use it, and not applying it and not using it will lead to mutually exclusive positions and will lead to us being unreasonable.
Well, I mean, what puzzles me about her, I mean, is she articulates and has a vocabulary like she knows what she's talking about. But when it gets down to it, 3-year-old kids have more freaking logic understanding than she does. I mean, she distorts axioms, and either she just thinks she's really clever with her thinking, and she found a way around the burden of proof or something like that, or she's not really a philosopher. She really doesn't have her doctorate.
I mean, I don't think that she's a philosopher. I really don't. I mean, she tries to sound smart and tries to use big words and stuff, but the way she's thinking, there is no way that she's a philosopher. I mean, she's also a Platonist, and I mean, that alone is just untenable to me. I also had like a conversation with her on YouTube in the comment section. I think of one of the videos of her friends, and she basically said like it's the most normal things that numbers actually do have an existence of their own, that they somewhere fly around in some realm, and it's like, wow.
I'm kind of fond of the number 7. You seen any of their own lately? They're kind of rare.
What was that?
Yeah, the number 7. I'm really fond of that one. If you see one of them flying around, grab it for me because I'm collecting them. Willfully ignorant and arrogant, yes, and obtuse is a better word for her. SJ. Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I personally must say that I don't have like a problem with Stephanie's character. I mean, know that most people hate her and think that.
I don't hate her. I just think she's ridiculous. She's ridiculous. Her
I
arguments are ridiculous.
I know that many people really don't like her. Um, to me, I think she's in general a good person, I would say, but she's just so wrong on so many
Maybe
levels.
maybe the reason that I don't hate her is I got a little crush on her. Maybe I don't know.
It,
Don't tell
and
her. Oh, geez, did I say that out loud? Huh?
it just boggles my mind that uh, some of her arguments that she really thinks that they work. I mean,
if I almost she just seems too smart to do that? I mean, can you just? I don't know. I don't know how she can not see the bad part of the argument there. I don't know how she can see that there isn't there isn't a sound argument when she uses those arguments. I think your microphone might be out again.
Wait.
No, I heard something there.
Is
Eh,
it working
yep,
again?
yep. And now it's not. Oh,
Is it working?
now it is. Now it is.
Okay, okay. Uh, Damn, now I forgot my point. Um, like, with her arguments, I have dealt with them, and I know that she also has read some of my blogs because she follows my blog. Like, you can follow people on blogs, and I've also debated her as sort of a blog debate uh, on the argument from non-belief. I don't know if you're familiar with that. It's some positive atheistic argument.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
I mean, I can maybe open up my blog really quick and then maybe see if I can find it, because it is like my favorite argument. It's also an argument popularized by Scott Clifton. Yeah, here we go.
You know how to present.
Uh, okay. Wait a minute. Premise one. If God exists, God A wants all humans to believe he exists before they die. B can bring about a situation in which all humans believe he exists before they die. Does not want anything which would conflict with and be at least as important as this desire for all humans to believe he exists before they die. And D always acts in accordance with what he most wants. Premise two: if God exists, all humans would believe he did before they died. From premise one. Premise three: but not all humans believe God exists before they die. C: therefore God does not exist. From two and three.
See, I'm. There's about 8 arguments I think for God not existing, and I want to do a video series on all of them. But I'm gonna try and get uh other YouTubers to do it with me. I'm gonna have one YouTuber do each argument with me, and I'm gonna go through them all. Yeah, I I like that one too.
I mean, I could help if you want.
Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah, let's do it. I'd love to do one with you.
I also then basically wrote a defense about why I think that argument is valid, and she then wrote a rebuttal to it, and she didn't understand the argument at all. She thought that the argument basically boiled down to uh, there are some people who don't believe in her God, therefore God does not exist. But that's not at all the argument. I mean, the argument is basically, uh, or the defense of the argument is that God like wants all people to believe, but there are genuine people who seek God or who want God to exist, and they would love to have a loving relationship with Him, but He just doesn't bother for whatever reason, and therefore they, you know, cannot be saved. And she just basically stumbled on each and every premise that I presented for the argument. So,
Yeah. That, yeah, I don't think
but
I don't-
one thing that I do have to give a credit for concerning this argument is that she uh, also like found a kind of solution that probably most Christians wouldn't agree with, but she, I think, believes that people are still eligible for salvation even after they died. Like, you don't have to turn to God in your lifetime in order to be saved, and that is uh, sort of a way out of the argument, but obviously not. I don't think it's first not consistent with Christianity as a whole, and second off, uh, and yeah, it's not consistent. I don't think with Christianity, and I don't think that many people would accept her way out of the argument in that sense. And the argument also wouldn't work against Calvinists, for instance, because they believe that God just chooses whoever gets to repent and gets to save and gets saved. So he basically wouldn't bother.
I'm going to ask you to do something here.
Okay.
I've got, let me present it here. Okay. And I've got, since you're a lawyer and kind of gave me I was thinking about doing this anyway and starting it. But what I have here, as soon as I get it, these are American academies
Okay.
that do not accept creationism or intelligent design
Yeah.
as a science. And I just want you, so I'm going to do this with everybody that I have on a guest here. There's about 100, actually, I think there's like 200 different academies that do not accept creationism as science. But I want you to read the 6 through 8 here for me for a compilation video that I'm going to make.
Okay. Cool.
The academies that do not accept creationism. Can you read that?
Yeah, I think
Should I
so.
make it bigger? Let me make it bigger.
Yeah. Like, you want me to read it right now, or?
Yeah. Read it right now.
Okay. 6 through 8, right?
Yep, 6 through 8.
Okay. National Association of Biology Teachers. Scientists have firmly established evolution as an important natural process. Experimentation, logical analysis, and evidence-based revision are procedures that clearly differentiate and separate science from other ways of knowing. Explanations or ways of knowing that invoke non-naturalistic or supernatural events or beings, whether called creation science, scientific creationism, intelligent design theory, young earth theory, or similar designations, are outside the realm of science and not part of a valid science curriculum. 7. Geological Society of America. In recent years, certain individuals motivated by religious views have mounted an attack on evolution. This group favors what it calls creation science, which is not really science at all because it invokes supernatural phenomena. Science, in contrast, is based on observations of the natural world. All beliefs that creation include the idea known as intelligent design fall within the domain of.
Your mic just went out.
No?
Yeah, you can start at all beliefs that entail supernatural creation.
Uh, where? I. All beliefs that entail supernatural creation, including the idea known as intelligent design, fall within the domain of religion rather than science. For this reason, they must be excluded from science courses in all public schools. 8. The American Chemical Society. Evolution cannot be dismissed or diminished by characterizing it as a mere conjecture or speculation. The inclusion of non-scientific explanations in science curriculum misrepresents the nature and process of science and compromises a central purpose of public education, the preparation of a scientifically literate workforce.
All right, thanks, man.
No problem.
I was gonna make a video compiling all these together a while back, but I've decided. I kind of thought of it today. I was like, why don't I just have my guests each read like three things like that, and then I'll compile a video of it together. And because hey, I'm building a case against creationism.
Yeah, I mean, I also have like a series on my blog, so to speak, challenging creation science, where I am basically the first one is about the inability of creationism to uh, or for creationism, even if it were true, to possibly establish that it is true, because they have like no dating methods that could establish that, or that would establish that the Earth is exactly 6,000 years old. They have no way of establishing ex nihilo causation, and they have no way that if evolution is false and if we were created, that it will.
Oh, your mic went out again.
Is it
Eh,
working?
Now it is.
Okay.
I'm gonna send a soldering guy over to you soon.
So I also try to make or have made a case against creationism in that sense. And another thing that really is think strange about creationism is the way they argue, because recently I ran into a person who said, well, look around you, it's so complex, and the human body is so complex and everything's so complex, so therefore evolution must be false. But what they don't realize, I think, is that complexity is by its very nature emergent. I
Yep.
mean, think, for example, of pregnancy, think of, uh, I don't know, or maybe building a computer. It's always the case that smaller, less complex parts get composed into something really complex, but they themselves hold to a belief in sudden complexity, i.e., God snapped his fingers and then it happened. I mean, that goes against science, and that goes against our everyday experience, and therefore creationism is not at all intuitive, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's more of a fact than an opinion. And I forgot
Yeah.
what I was gonna say. I can't remember. Go ahead.
Uh, I don't know, like creationism, and I also then
Oh,
like
I remember now. Intelligent design is just another name for creationism, and that's
yeah,
all it is. They try to that was the creationists trying to slip it in there. Yeah. It's, okay, go ahead. Sorry.
but also another thing that they will argue is that we are in fact fully capable of sort of determining what is designed and what isn't designed. Or one argument that they always make is um, uh, common common design requires a common designer. But I also went ahead and then showed, like, by that logic, uh, that a common design does not imply common designer, because sort of with art, I think I went back to an example by Picasso and then argued that uh, if I think Picasso was part of Cubism of that era, and that Cubism, like those sculpture, that if we went by that logic, that common design, common designer, then that would imply that every cubistic artwork would then be made by Picasso. But we also know that other artists worked in Cubism, and we also know that not every artwork of Picasso was cubistic. So that argument is blatantly false. And other than that, we also, uh, by their own admission, can't always recognize design, because if you, for instance, were to look at the Grand Canyon, I mean, I think it can very well be argued that the Grand Canyon looks very designed if you just look at it. But they themselves believe that the Grand Canyon is in fact the result of the natural phenomenon, namely the flood. So in that case, we don't recognize design.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, well, I don't recognize design because I don't see any. I've never had evidence of a designer. There's
Yeah,
no designer to point to show us that a designer designed anything. If I can't point to a designer, then how can you point to something and say, "Well, that's designed"? You can't, and that's
yeah.
just the problem with it.
Also, of course, everything we observe is that we are not designed. I mean, the analogy is just blatantly faulty. For instance, to compare us to an iPhone or a computer or whatever, because computers aren't reproducing organisms.
No,
I
no,
mean,
they
that
don't.
much should be obvious.
They
So,
can be. AI can be that way though.
oh,
You can. They had you have
maybe,
programs that AI does want to perpetuate and actually evolve or whatever, but I don't think it's possible that. I mean, it's possible, but I don't. Will a computer actually have a conscience if it gets that much intelligence? I don't know. We don't know. I don't think so, but well, you never know.
I mean, I hope not. If they will
They
get too intelligent, I mean,
can already outthink us. So think of how many equations a supercomputer does. It's like bang.
I just recently, for the first time of my life, saw The Matrix. I mean,
Yeah,
that scenario is really scary. Like computers outsmarting us and then using us as batteries and putting us in a computer program. I mean, that is
a computer would use
scary.
pure logic. They would not. They would not have empathy.
Yeah,
There would be no empathy. There would be no feelings. Yeah, yeah. As humans, we use logic to have. I love logic, but we do need to. Got to care about everybody on top of that too. Otherwise, we're just not human.
yeah.
Yeah, I think I'd be more worried about like if the computer does gain, it might not actually have a conscience, but it still will have this will to if it gets this will to survive and considers what will it consider us, because it will be doing these equations and figuring things out eventually, but will it consider us a nuisance or something that it wants to keep around to study us? Because that's what is going to happen when the AI gets to a certain point. I think your mic's out again.
Is it?
No, 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 that's not
Oh,
my
okay.
mistake. I was just talking too much.
All right. Yeah.
Now it went out.
Is it?
There you are.
Yeah. Okay. Great. I mean, it's just really scary to think of like machines or so taking over the world. But in the end, I think we as humans might very well be our worst enemy. I mean,
Very
uh,
possible.
I heard, I think it was Stephen Hawking who said that he thinks that like our planet will be gone like in 1,000 years top. So, I mean, we might very well be on our way to destroy our planet, not only for ourselves, but also for future generations and, of course, for all the other animals. And that is really bad.
Yeah,
I mean,
well, yeah,
it's just,
uh,
it really shows
artificial
that,
intelligence could consider biological life as fuel for it, though, too.
yeah,
And so who knows? So well, just breed us until we're not intelligent anymore, and then
yeah,
until we're just meat sacks that don't think or have a conscience,
yeah.
and treat us like cattle. You never know.
Um, evolution might have, with us, evolution might very well have produced its own worst enemy.
Yeah, well, maybe that's what the universe needed was computers to be evolved, and that's why we're here. We're here
Yeah.
to make that happen. Just recently in my hometown here, our town's new Ulm, named after Ulm, Germany.
Mm.
and we had a thing called Bavarian Blast, and it used to be
Mm.
polka days where the whole entire town would just close off the one street, and we would all just party with polka music all day long, a whole week for a whole week. They don't do that anymore, but now it's Bavarian Blast. It used to be called Heritage Fest or Polka Days. That's what it was. But I've about 5 or 6 polka, really famous polka bands were out of this town. Yeah, they even listen to polka music in Germany anymore?
Um, I I mean, it depends. I mean, think in September, the
Oktoberfest?
yeah, it's
Yeah.
coming up. I mean, there all the time, like
Yeah, we had that too.
non-stop. And also at other festivals, like in the city where I study, we I think recently had a festival as well, and but normally not. I mean, I actually have like I'm right now on vacation and I'm here with in the home of my dad, where I also grew up. But I study in a different city from here. Like I live in the area near Erding. In do you know Erdinger Weißbier?
No.
It's like a really famous German beer.
Oh, what was the name again?
Erdinger Weißbier.
I believe I have heard of it.
Yeah, I am like I live near that region right now, but I study in the city of Bayreuth, which is like 3 hours or
Uh,
so away.
and don't lie to me. You got a pair of leader. You got Lederhausen, don't you?
Hmm?
You've got a pair of Lederhausen, don't you?
No, I don't.
Don't lie to me.
I really don't.
uh, yeah.
I
But
mean,
you're gonna get a pair, right?
I mean the thing with Oktoberfest is the vast majority of people you're gonna see there with Lederhosen are people who aren't from Munich. I mean, the people from Munich, we just go there in our normal outfits, more or less.
They just wear Lederhausen every day.
Uh, some people, yes, but most people no.
Well, what's the name of that dance where you slap each other around like that? What's that called?
Um, uh, where you like with your feet
Bum,
and
bum, bum.
yeah, uh, I don't know. Maybe you refer to Schuhplatteln,
Schuhplucken?
Platteln,
Duckling?
uh, with a P, Schuhplatteln or
Pluckling.
Platteln. I don't know. It's
Nein, sprechen Sie Deutsch.
it's
That's all I know. Actually,
what was it?
I do know was hast du gesagt. That's about it. But we spoke a low German, the lower German here,
Okay.
like the Mennonites.
I mean, German is like a really difficult language to learn.
There's a
At
lot of
first
tongue rolls
glance.
on there. I can kind of do it, but my grandma spoke German and my dad, so I knew how to understand it when I was younger as a kid, but now I'm older. I didn't stick with it, so it kind of is a lost thing to me. But your generation, you guys coming up, you guys know like 5 languages, most of you out there in Europe, don't you?
I can speak German like my native language. I am also English, obviously, and in school I had like 5 years or so in French, but it's been years since I've spoken French. So, uh,
Fuck the
I
French.
je ne pardon en
I
français.
don't even
And
know one word in French. No, you're
I
breaking up
mean,
there. There, now you got it. I think.
uh, one funny thing in French class was actually like the first lesson in French where you had to learn like words in French and like the first word in French that you had to learn was meow. Meow. That's how uh, that's how a cat speaks in French.
That
But
does
then they introduce the names and stuff. So
had a girl from France rent from us for a while, a couple years ago. She spoke English pretty well though. You couldn't even tell that she had an well. Her dad is from America too, and her mom was from right around Paris or something like that. But yeah, I could barely even hear her accent on her. In fact, I on YouTube I've a few people that are like have that, and your accent is a lot less. But I think with social media, that's changing the accents. You're actually able to speak clear because if I would talk to my grandpa, he would have been like just fit that German accent, and you're not quite that deep with it. You speak very well English.
Yeah, I mean, uh, I am also like really made myself in my teenage years familiar like with American culture and all that stuff, and it was really helpful because uh, I didn't have to learn English for school. I mean, in my last 2 years of school, I maybe learned like once or twice for English, not even for my final exams I learned, and I was always like one of the best in class. So I'm
Oh, another thing too is I think in America we kind of thought that we don't have to learn another language too. At least I did when I was like, it's just optional. But now it's kind of for anybody else in the world, it's like almost it's almost the priority to learn English, isn't it? I mean, would you say would you be make it important to learn English if
um,
you yeah.
I would say so. I mean, especially in today's age, it's really important to speak English because of globalization and that stuff, and
Hmm.
you know, like communicating with other people in the economy or whatever place. So it's, I would say it's definitely important.
I
Have
think
you
I
ever
was
heard?
watching something where I think it was Michael Shermer actually, where he's doing a little lecture and he was talking about how 200 languages actually this it's Dennett, Daniel Dennett was talking about that where 200 languages are going extinct all the time, every day. And it's
Mm,
like that aren't spoken anymore. So yeah, so but with media, social media, that makes it huge for I don't know, it's probably gonna be one language eventually. It's probably gonna go to that point.
I mean, English is like it's also I have to take like English courses for my studies, and like it's called English for lawyers, but I will have to visit later. But so in this day and age, I would say speaking English is or speaking English well is almost necessity. I mean, I know many people who aren't that good in English, but
I know a lot of people that are English that aren't good in English.
yeah, but as part of a job, as part of an economy, or
Yeah, definitely for the economy. And here's the thing: when you grow up in America, like I did, you don't think of that way because now, well, which language should I learn? How many different languages are there? Should I learn Russian? Well, that doesn't really pay. German? Should I learn French? Should I learn? It's almost not necessary to learn another language, and that kind of disappoints me in a way because I like learning now.
I mean, I would say that maybe Spanish is also important, but I mean,
Yeah.
pretty much if you can speak English, you should get along.
Well, Latin really helps you get a better grasp on scientific terms and stuff like that because
Yeah.
I mean that's what science is mainly uses.
I mean, it was, I think, a few years ago the case that when you went to French or when you went to France, that they insisted that you speak French, but by now that's also not the case anymore because I think 3 years ago or so I was in Paris and every single one of them was willing to speak in English with us. So
uh, yeah. Fuck the French. Don't tell any of the French people I said that.
Yeah. What I will say, however, is that Paris is a really beautiful city. I mean, it's great.
Yeah, I haven't been there. I got to get over to Europe and see it. I'll stop by and, like I said, now I know now who to call. I'll be in Paris or whatever. It's like, hey, I know this lawyer over in Germany. Can you get a hold for me? I can't pronounce his name, but he's a dude.
I mean, it's not really something I brag about, like me studying law, but when people ask me, hey, what do you do professionally? And then I say I study law, I mean, usually the reaction is just, whoa, can you maybe help me later with when I get in trouble? Like, can I call you and then you bail me out or something like this? Apparently, it's pretty useful.
Well, I don't know any other lawyer in Germany, so
But I think what law has also made apparent to me is also that morality, as far as I'm concerned, really is subjective because there are kind of theories within laws or way to deal with ways to deal with certain issues that I wouldn't necessarily find moral. I mean, for instance, attempted homicide or attempted murder. Like if you, for instance, point to a gun and you shoot a guy and you fail, like you miss him, you if you then just stop and you still have bullets and so, then it may very much be possible that you won't be punished for attempted homicide because you stepped back in that case, at least according to some theories.
yeah.
So that yeah, so that is I don't know how to. I mean, I don't necessarily like it. I mean, I do get uh, the reasoning behind it because as for protection of the victim, like, is my mic out again?
No, no, I'm just I was gonna put your Twitter handle in the chat here too, so that because I didn't put it in the description.
So because it's for the protection of the victim, but it just is crazy to me that you can just try to shoot a guy and then say, well, I don't want anymore, and then you don't get punished for it. I mean, that's
Uh-huh.
really crazy to me, sort of. I mean, it's apparent why they do it that way, but on the other hand, it's problematic, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would say very problematic. Let's see, copy. And do. So is anybody in the chat anymore? Anybody out there? Here is there. That's it. Are you talking right now, or
Uh, not
ah?
currently.
Now I can hear you. But well, we've been on for an hour and a half. I think probably should call it quits on here. But I'd love to do this again. We should
Yeah,
build
definitely.
do that
Let's
video
do it.
with an argument for the non-existence of God.
Yeah,
um. Well, no, thanks a lot for coming on here.
yeah,
I
yeah.
swore
I
we did a stream
appreciated it.
together before, but I don't think we did we? Did we? Yeah, we
No,
did.
hmm?
Maybe. Oh, maybe I came onto Peter's one time when you were on Peter's channel.
Yeah. Um, I also was, I think, one time on Jackson's
There. That's
channel
where. Now I remember. Yep.
after the debate that Arnoir had with Mr. Intelligent Design. I also was like 3 times on Stephanie's channel.
Mr. Intelligent Design.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean,
Oh.
I would definitely like to be on YouTube more often to chat with other people, but
Mr. I just sorry. His
because
voice just kills me. He's such a funny guy.
because I think I find it definitely more fun to be like live with people and like
It's
debate or
yes, yeah.
change ideas in person. But
Well, you don't
Twitter's
get to see
also
their
fun.
emotions. You get to you just kind of
Yeah,
see their text that they kind of type out there. But I want to thank everybody in the chat for coming out here. Go to Renee's Twitter if you want to. He's got a blog out there too. You haven't really done much on it lately, but I have a feeling you're going to be doing something here and there.
I
And
the problem is I have like I
no
think
time.
written over no not that I have like written over 100 blog posts or so, and I'm currently a little bit out of ideas what to
Yeah,
write exactly.
yeah. I hear you. I hear you there.
I mean, maybe what I might do is maybe do another thing like where I use my techniques from law to other passages. Maybe I in the future might do some work on Bible passages and show why they don't say what Christians think they say, like with prophecies, for instance, or stuff.
Yeah,
But
that's there's plenty of contradictions in there. To there's plenty of contradictions in there. Hi, Laura. So I was just going to shut her down. So, but anyway, well, tell you what, I want to thank everybody here. I am going to get going, and we shall next week. I will have Tales from the Church is his channel name. I asked him to do it. He's living in China, so that's going to be even a weirder. But that'll actually work out because I think it's going to be 8 in the morning, what at 7 o'clock at night. So I won't be doing this early in the morning like this. But anyway, thanks so much, Renee, and thank you everybody in the chat. You take care.